A stepmother tries to sell her stepdaughter as a wife to an old tycoon, but the girl escapes from under the crown. Soon the mute beauty must become the wife of a rich man with childhood fears. At first he seems rude and overbearing, but soon he falls in love with the girl and helps to uncover the secrets of her past. The actions of the drama take place in China, where a little girl named Xunan is desperately searching for her mother. At the same time, her mother is on the balcony of a skyscraper arguing with someone on the phone, clearly refusing to fulfill request. Desperate, the woman jumps off the balcony and ends her life right in front of her young daughter. A few years later, Xu is a grown-up girl, but she still feels the events of the past haunting her in her nightmares. Due to childhood psychological trauma on the background of stress, the girl developed a disease, as a result of which she became mute and communicates through sign language. Having met with her evil stepmother Wang Li, the girl learns that her father is experiencing certain problems, because of which he must sell the school for special people, founded by her late mother. Unwilling to put up with this, Xu asks to take her to her father, with whom she has not communicated well since the tragedy. Her stepmother agrees, but takes the girl to a trap where she is attacked by two lawbreakers. After waking up in a hotel room, Xu realizes that her stepmother has sold her as a wife for a wealthy man in exchange for a cash infusion into her company. While Wang Li negotiates with the rich man, the girl uses a sheet instead of rope and escapes from the hotel through the balcony. The man and his guards go in search of Xu, but it turns out that she has been hiding in a closet all along. Trying to escape, the girl goes out into the corridor, but she is met by the guards, because of which she has to escape and hide in one of the rooms of the hotel. In the end, Xu meets Min Yan, a young executive of an influential company. The man has recently returned from abroad and suffers from paranoia related to childhood psychological traumas, so he does not trust those around him. Using her phone, Xu asks the man to shut up, but he continues to scream in pain and attacks her from behind. The girl manages to wriggle out and clamp the man's mouth with her hand so the bullies won't hear him in the midst of the attack. Taking her behavior as a desire to get to know her better, Min takes Xu to bed, where she bites his arm with all her might, causing the man to pass out and the girl to successfully escape. The next morning, Min Yan becomes the head of his late father's company. Before he grew up, his uncle Hong Yu held the reins, but now Min is the president and has the right to dispose of the company. The first thing he decides to do is to buy one of the companies without even consulting his uncle, which creates a tense atmosphere in the office. Meanwhile, Xu returns home and attacks Wang Li, telling her what her stepmother did to her. Unable to believe his daughter's story and unwilling to give up on selling the school, the father punches his daughter in the face, claiming that he had not planned any such thing. Not wanting to lose his grip on the company, Hong Yu sends reporters joint photos of his nephew and the girl breaking into his room. The uncle had been following Min Yan and took some drone shots to cause a scandal and regain control of the company for himself. In an attempt to avoid the scandal, the man claims that the girl in the photos is his fiancée and he will soon make her a formal proposal to become his wife. Wang Li kidnaps her again, as he hates her and wants to get rid of her as soon as possible. Min Yan arrives at Xu's house and sees the mayhem going on. He decides to follow the bandits, but loses their car at an intersection because of a red traffic light. The elderly tycoon harasses the girl, but Xu kicks him between the legs and escapes again. The tycoon's guards catch the girl, but Min Yan suddenly appears, beating up the men and rescuing the girl. Inviting her to his home, he offers her a contract, according to which she will pretend to be his wife, in return receiving a large cash reward. The offer seems tempting, but Xu deceives the man and escapes without signing the contract. After visiting a special institution for sick people, the girl decides to take care of them. She meets Min Yan and agrees to sign a contract on condition that he buys the school. The man needs to save the company from bankruptcy and sale to bad people, so the proposal is favorable to both of them, but he for some reason refuses Xu's offer. The girl decides to use her beauty and charm to seduce the man and makes him to agree to her terms. Min gives in to Xu's pressure, after which she signs a contract and listens carefully to his terms of living together. The man is very distrustful and does not like physical contact, so Xu should stay away and not touch him. Everyone must believe in their relationship, so the girl is obliged to live with Min in the same house. A couple of days later, the man introduces Xu to his grandfather, introducing her as a young bride. The old man is dissatisfied with his grandson's choice, as there is a long-standing feud between their families concerning their business. Realizing his grandfather's displeasure, Min declares that this is a plan to seize power and he will achieve what he wants, after which he will dissolve the marriage and get rid of Keksu. A little later, the uncle accuses his nephew of having an affair with a relative, as it is possible that Keksu is his sister. Min's father was promiscuous and often spent time with mistresses, among whom was the girl's mother. In the evening, the couple has dinner with Min's family, announcing the official engagement. A few days later, the makeup artists help the girl to tidy up and envy, not understanding how a young, handsome, and rich man could choose a mute girl as his wife. Meanwhile, Wang Li persuades her daughter Yao to try to win Min Yan to ruin her half-sister's potential marriage. When she meets the man, she tries to convince him that Keksu is an easygoing girl with lots of admirers, often vacationing in nightclubs, but he ignores her and doesn't want to hear it all. Min tries to make a statement about the engagement in front of journalists, but they do not listen to him, as they have received photos of Keksu cuddling with other men. The girl tries to prove that all these pictures are taken with artificial intelligence, but no one understands sign language. The assistant suggests that Min break up with the girl for a while so as not to ruin his reputation, but the man proves that the photos he saw were fake. He promises to catch and punish the creator of these pictures, and Keksu thanks him for protecting her honest name. Stepping out into the hallway, the girl notices her stepmother talking to the cleaning lady. In the face of the hotel employee, Keksu recognizes her maid, who worked in her house when her mother was still alive, but suffered from mental disorders. The girl becomes curious about what the maid and Wang Li could communicate, so she decides to get to the truth. To do this, the girl has to go to her father's house and meet her unloved half-sister. Holding back emotions, Keksu helps her father catch fish and agrees to dinner with the family. Wang Li and Yao are unhappy with the situation, but have to pretend to be kind and nice to Keksu. During dinner, the girl asks her father about her late mother's diary and learns that it is kept in the storeroom. As soon as the opportunity arises, the stepmother leaves the table and goes to the storeroom to find and destroy Sue's late mother's diary. Suddenly, the lights come on and it appears that the girl is standing behind her. She lied about going to school only to find the hidden diary and catch her stepmother red-handed. Keksu suspects the stepmother of being involved in something that happened years ago, but the woman denies her guilt and excuses herself, claiming that she wanted to get to know the girl and her late mother better by using the diary. Wang Li manages to avoid interrogation, but Keksu is still suspicious of her, believing that her stepmother was involved in the incident with her late mother. In the evening, Keksu goes to Min's house, as the contract requires her to always spend the night with him. At the same time, it does not specify that they should be in the same bed, so the man sends the girl to the floor. Feeling uncomfortable, Min suggests a swap and gives the girl the bed, while he himself lies down on the floor. In the morning, getting ready for work, the man looks at the sleeping Keksu and realizes that he likes her. As soon as he leaves, it turns out that the girl was awake and felt the man's gaze on her, having the same feelings for him. Min meets with Sue's father to negotiate a contract to buy a school for special people. The girl's father refuses the deal, but Sue persuades him to change his mind so as not to worsen their relationship further. She convinces her father that now is the optimal time for the sale, but is ready to accept any of his decisions. A little later, the man agrees to sell the school, but on the condition that its employees are not fired, and Min organizes a big farewell ceremony. Before the man signs the contract, his wife appears in the room and tearfully informs him that he has fallen into his own daughter's trap. Despite this, the man signs the contract to sell the school. The next morning, Min begins to learn sign language in order to pleasantly surprise the girl. Keksu does not notice what is happening and runs off somewhere. The man wonders what his fake wife is doing, leaving the house, because she does not tell him anything. At night, Sue again goes somewhere and Min decides to follow her. The girl meets in a restaurant with a private detective who demands from her a large sum of money for his work. Watching them from afar, Min assumes it is her man and takes some photos. At night, the girl returns home and accidentally runs into a not-so-young tycoon. The old man makes Keksu into the back seat of his car and decides to have a good time with her, but luckily Min comes to the rescue and pushes the old man out of the car. After beating up the tycoon, forbids him from approaching the girl unless the old man wants to say goodbye to his life. Min saves the girl, and she throws herself into his arms in tears. Upon returning home, the man discovers a wound on her back and nurses Chu back to health, doing so gently and carefully. Min tries to find out about where the girl is going, but she ignores his question, not wanting to tell the truth as his father may have something to do with this dark case the private investigator is handling. While trying to find her phone, Exu gets too close to the man, causing him to become nervous and pass out. Waking up in the morning, Min discovers that the girl is cooking breakfast for him, showing her gratitude for saving him from the tycoon. The man notices that now Exu looks much more beautiful and cannot understand the reason for this. A little later, Min receives a call from his assistant and informs him that the girl is meeting with a private detective who is investigating strange events that happened in the distant past. Having learned this, Min decides to help Exu and pay for the services of the detective. A couple of days later, the couple goes to a farewell ceremony where Exu meets her stepmother and pours a glass of champagne on her. Trying to apologize, the girl gives her stepmother a spare dress, but it turns out to be a waitress uniform from her former job. A little later, Exu informs Wang Lai that she thinks she is a manipulative person who lied about her past. She wants to tell her father everything, but her stepmother threatens the girl and then attacks her, resulting in a fight. Xu's father turns on the live stream at the ceremony and sees his spouse attacking his daughter. The man demands an explanation, but Wang Li cries, blaming Xu for everything, claiming it was her trap. During the conflict, it is revealed that Yao is not adopted, but the birth daughter of Exu's father, since he cheated on her mother. Yao learns of the conflict and attacks the girl with a knife, but Min defends her and takes the blow, after which she sees it and faints like a frightened child. A little later, Exu watches over Min lying in his bed. His assistant reports that the boss has a fear of various things, such as red liquid and invasion of his personal space. A little later, Min has a nightmare related to childhood tragedy and the loss of father. Upon seeing this, Exu tries to comfort the man as he suddenly wakes up and instinctively embraces her. The couple is in a romantic mood and would like to brush, but at that moment, Min's assistant returns to the bedroom and spoils the opportune moment. Soon after, Exu is called by her father, who asked her to testify on his behalf to avoid imprisonment due to the problems that have arisen. The girl is annoyed that he cares for Lai and her daughter, but does nothing for her and did not care for her late mother. Xu agrees to testify in favor of Wang Lai so that she won't be imprisoned for assaulting Min, but on the condition that her father divorce her and not give his inheritance to her stepmother or her daughter. Min continues to learn sign language and begins to communicate with Exu without words to make the girl feel good. The next morning, the girl visits her father and sees that he has not kept his promise, still being married to Wang Lai. The woman knows about the divorce, but asks Exu not to interfere in their relationship because they are happy with each other. Soon, a maid shows up, revealing that she was the caretaker of Exu's late mother during her depressive period, until she was bribed into switching pills. Taking the wrong medication, the woman became depressed before jumping off a balcony and ending her life. Assistant Min makes the maid to give the name of the person who bribed her, and she points her finger in Wang Li's direction. To back up her words, the woman provides a piece of paper with the number of the man who threatened her. Everything points to the evil stepmother, but she denies her guilt, claiming it's all a misunderstanding. Wang Li falls to her knees in front of her husband, but he pushes her away and refuses to help, reminding her that they are already divorced and she is nothing to him. The evidence is still insufficient, so the police are unable to arrest the stepmother and send her to jail. A frustrated Exu goes to the same rooftop where her mother settled the score and gets drunk. Min, who has been following the girl, rushes after her to avoid tragedy and hugs her tightly from behind. Xu tries to break free and at one point screams, saying something for the first time in years. In the morning, the girl wakes up and realizes that her speech has been restored, which pleases her and Min, who falls asleep beside her to take care of Exu. A little later, the pair go to the birthday party of the man's grandfather. Xu won't shut up and talks to everyone, happy to be cured of her illness, and the grandfather asks Min to spare a few minutes. In private, the old man argues that his grandson should marry a young girl from a wealthy family and give up Exu. During the tea ceremony, the girl refuses the cake as she is allergic to the cream. The grandfather's assistant finds this strange, as the test says that one of the deceased in the distant past was also allergic to cream. A short while later, Min hands the girl a contract to own a school for special people. The contract is up and she has held up her end of the bargain, but Min shows her photos taken by her uncle and offers to renew the agreement so that he can continue to investigate and find those responsible for making her mother and his father dead. Meanwhile, Min's grandfather conducts a biological test and gets the results, learning that Ksu is related to them. Min visits the old man and informs him that he wants to marry Ksu, not a rich girl from a famous family. Grandpa doesn't object, hiding the fact that Min and Taeksu are brother and sister. Trying to overcome his childhood fears, Min finds a doctor trying to help him. The man is unable to shake hands and it becomes clear that this is the result of PTSD and, if left untreated, will lead to complete isolation from the outside world. Realizing how scary this is, Heksu decides to treat the guy in an unconventional way and pounces on with a hug. Min resists for a long time but gives in to the girl, realizing that she wants to brush him. He does not lose consciousness as before, but Heksu does not brush Min because her therapy does not involve this. From that day on, Sue begins to accompany Min, holding his hand wherever he goes. The only exception to the rules is the toilet, as the girl is shy to be near the man at that moment. In the evening, the couple decides to watch a horror movie, which brings them even closer together. At one point, the electricity in the house disappears and, very frightened, Min and Eksu hug even tighter. A little later, Min decides to call the master, but the girl insists that he is the future head of the family and must learn to solve problems on his own. The couple heads to the basement, but the girl stumbles on the stairs and falls on Min, causing the pair to accidentally brush. Embarrassed, Eksu runs away to the bedroom, and Min realizes that there is nothing wrong with physical contact and should not be afraid of it. Early in the morning, the man leaves for work without saying goodbye, but writes a message to the girl, promising to repair the electricity when he returns home. Sue, in turn, promises a reward in the form of a delicious dinner. A little later, the girl goes to the store to get groceries, unaware that the evil stepmother is watching her. Just as Sue gets into a cab, two guys attack her and kidnap. Min chooses an engagement ring as Wang Lai suddenly calls and informs her that she must arrive at the abandoned factory if wants to see Eksu alive. Arriving at the factory and climbing onto the roof, the man encounters Wang Lai threatening the girl with an electric stick. Min offers a generous reward in exchange for Eksu's freedom, but the stepmother wants him to see a man he cares about lose his life. The woman pushes Eksu off the roof, but the girl manages to grab onto the ledge, after which Min rushes to her aid. The man saves his beloved and admits that the greatest fear for him is to lose Eksu, and the guards arrest Wang Lai. Having gathered courage, Min offers Eksu to become his wife, but this time for real, and the girl responds with consent. Meanwhile, it becomes known that behind the attempt on the girl's life was not only her stepmother, but also Min's uncle. He is disappointed that Wang Lai did not realize the plan, but now he knows that the weak point of his nephew is too. A while later, the couple goes to a salon to choose a wedding dress. Seeing the girl in white, Min dreams of brushing her, but before he has to correct the veil. While doing this, he accidentally hurts his finger and almost faints when he sees the liquid. Eksu helps her man to recover and brushes him, realizing that he was only pretending, provoking her to active actions. Sometime later, Hong Yu comes to the couple's house, who shows the girl a DNA test. According to it, Eksu realizes that she and Min are related. As proof, Hong Yu provides some photos that show that her mother was in a relationship with Min's father. Needing an explanation, the girl rushes to her father's house and asks him to confirm if she is indeed not his own daughter. After Eksu leaves for her father's house, her uncle communicates with Min and gives him the same news. At the same time, Hong Yu informs Min that he is not his father's biological son and cannot be the legal heir to the company, so he offers to hand over the reins of the company to him. Meanwhile, Xu's father tells the girl that she is not his daughter because he married her mother while she was pregnant. He knew that he was not her biological father, but treated her as his own daughter. After learning the whole truth, the girl leaves her father's house, believing that Min is her brother. A little later, Eksu visits her mother's grave and weeps bitterly as she loves Min and wants to be with him. Min hides nearby and hears the girl's words, but is afraid to tell her the truth because of her uncle's threats, because they are not brother and sister. In the evening, the girl returns home and packs her bags, ignoring Min. She informs her that they are brother and sister, so they cannot be together. Min calms the crying girl and admits that he is not his grandfather's biological grandson. His father was adopted as his mother took her life during childbirth. He also reveals that his father built a business from scratch, but the factory soon caught the attention of a more powerful family, making him to sell the factory at an undervalued price. Having debts, Min's father couldn't stand this pressure and jumped off the roof, ending his life. His grandfather decided to take care of the orphan and adopted him, naming as the father of late son who lost his life in a car accident. Min gladly accepted the opportunity as he knew that Hong Yu was responsible for what happened to his own father. He wanted to infiltrate the rich family to destroy the so-called uncle who cheated his real family. His grandfather insisted that Min marry a rich girl from a famous family to hide the truth and become the full owner of a huge business, but Min fell in love with Xu and opted for a relationship. After learning the whole truth, the girl is shocked and offers to run away together, but Min is determined to finish his revenge and punish his so-called uncle for what happened to his late father. The next day, Xu goes to a special school and talks to the principal, after which she receives her late mother's notebook and reads her notes. From the notebook, she learns that her mother and real father tried to start a family and run away for her daughter, but Hong Yu used not legal substances to affect her brother's health. Wang Lai worked closely with this man and spread false rumors, which drove Xu's mother to her grave. The girl forgives her mother for ending her life by abandoning her young daughter and decides to help Min to take revenge on her abusers. The next morning, Min, going along with his uncle, decides to announce his engagement to a rich girl. At the same time, Zhu appears in her wedding dress and tells the press that she is pregnant. Hong Yu shows the press the DNA report, claiming that Tzu is the daughter of Min's father, which means she is pregnant by her own brother. In an attempt to protect Min and Tzu, the grandfather admits that the grandson is not his biological heir. He declares that he adopted Min and enrolled him in his late son's name to give him a family and hope for a happy future. A little later, the old man offers Xu to take over the company, as she is his real granddaughter and the rightful heiress of the business. At a meeting of the board of directors, they decide to remove Min from his position, as he is not biologically related to his grandfather's grandson. The old man suggests putting Xu in the position, which annoys Hong Yu as he is his grandfather's own father, but in his opinion does not deserve to take over the reins of the company. Hong Yu claims that he did everything for the good of the company and feels aggrieved, but the old man is against his candidacy to head the family business. Xu shows up at the board meeting, and thanks to his mother's diary, proves that Hong Yu made his sibling to take substances by deception and spread rumors about her mother, which led to a tragedy. After learning the truth, the old man kicks Hong Yu's sibling out of the company and the family. Min meets his so-called uncle face to face and tells him that his life has been destroyed and he has taken revenge on him for all the suffering he endured as a child. A little later, Xu rushes to her mother's grave, where she finds wedding jewelry and a note from Min asking for her forgiveness. The girl finds all the man's notes, after which he appears and asks her again to become his wife. Xu offers to take her time and start the relationship from scratch to pass the test of time. At the same time, she accepts the ring and the couple seals the relationship with a brush next to the grave of the girl's mother.